In this video, I'm going to show you how to integrate API Fortress Auto, the command line tool, into your Azure DevOps pipeline for when you're doing builds. So first thing I want to mention is that I actually have all of the scripts that are contained within the command line tool in my Azure DevOps repository. With that being said, let's jump right into the pipeline YAML to take a look at it. So I want to mention that this is just an example pipeline YAML. You can obviously configure this to whatever best fits your needs for your build and test needs. But in this case, for this example, I have this. So what I have is I have this job defined as APIF, and I'm using the VM image Ubuntu latest. That's just personal preference. You can pretty much use whatever OS is needed for your build. The command line tool will pretty much run on anything. But the tool itself is written in Python, so I do need to define my Python version. I'm going with 3.7, which I believe is the latest, just so there's no issues with running it. And then I'm going to define the actual steps in my build. So the first step here is a script section where I'm going to execute a couple of scripts. The first one being pip install upgrade pip. This is just to make sure pip is most up to date, we don't have any issues. And then I'm going to do a pip install on the requirements.txt. This is just going to install all the dependencies that the command line tool needs to actually execute and work. And then below this, I have another script section. This is actually where I'm going to execute the command line tool so that we can run the tests in API Fortress. So I'm using the APIF run Python script. And what I'm saying is run all of the tests in this security project. And I want all of the results in JUnit format, and I want that outputted to this results folder in test-junit.xml. And then the last thing I have here is a task, and the task is to publish test results. And I'm going to give it the input file of the results, which is in this results folder, and the file is test-junit.xml. And then the condition here is succeeded or failed, and that's just going to evaluate the results regardless. With that being said, let's look at the pipelines. So I have this API Fortress pipeline, and I'm actually just going to run it. And we'll click run. And you can see this job is queued. And if I click on it, we can actually see what's happening. And so you can see that it's doing all the prep work. It's getting the parameters, the Python version ready. And then it's actually going to do the installing of the dependencies. So this is that requirements.txt. It's going to make sure everything's installed. And then once that's completed, it's actually going to run the API Fortress tests using the command line tool. And then the final part will be to publish test results. Now that this is done, we can actually see that 37.5% of the tests pass. So if we click into this, we can actually get more detail and see, okay, there was 8 total tests and 5 of them failed. And if we look a little bit below it, we can actually see what those 5 tests that failed were, and we can click into it, see more details, see what the error message was for the failure of the test, and kind of evaluate what happened here. There you have it. That's the pipeline.